Scientology is like a buzzword on the internet. I have been working at the Church of Scientology in San Francisco for 20 years. There's nothing that I could do to help a person that would be more powerful than delivering Scientology to them. I think that the role of religion in society is because the root cause of violence and crime and drug use and war on this planet, people no longer believe that they're spiritual beings. And the role of spirituality in society, it should be very prominent. Religion in general is going through a bit of a renaissance right now.
Yes,
I think
it
people
is.
are waking up to that. They're like, oh, there's more going on than my credit score or the car I'm sitting in. I've heard everything about there is to know about Scientology.
Today I have possibly the most famous Scientologist online today. Okay, it's Mr. Andy Holmes, who runs the TikTok, YouTube, all these other social media accounts for the Church of Scientology San Francisco, where he has worked for 20 years as a volunteer, primarily, right? He has 2 children, 13 and 5 years old. He's been married for 14 years. This guy also has what we call a kind of side gig to pay the bills, which is working marketing at an accounting firm.
Yeah.
And he is a first-generation Scientologist who is literally famous with multi-millions of views. And, man, it's really exciting to have you on, Andy.
Yeah,
Welcome.
thanks. Appreciate it.
Let's go, Andy.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was quite the introduction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyways, I'm excited to be here. That was a great intro. I have been working at the Church of Scientology in San Francisco for 20 years. This will be my 20th year there. So I've seen a lot. Pretty much seen it all, heard it all, been on all kinds of adventures, And I've been all over Scientology, the whole Scientology world from the top to the bottom. But the thing for me is San Francisco's always been my home. I'm very
Did you grow up there?
I didn't grow up there.
Oh, wow.
I actually grew up in Southern California, which is a good story. But yeah, I'm very connected to San Francisco. I mean, I love it there. I'll die there. I go through different physiological reactions even if I leave the city limits, just because I'm so rooted there. Even if I have to go to Oakland, I don't like it. I love it there. It's awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I guess, the first thing that I want to know,
Sure.
and kind of we address this with most guests, but how did you start in Scientology, right? Your first generation, you kind of discovered it or found it or whatever. How did you start?
And by first generation, we mean his parents weren't Scientologists.
Correct.
Your parents
Yeah.
aren't.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't think that was...
Anyways.
Yeah, it's fine.
No worries. Okay, so I didn't grow up in Scientology.
Mhm.
I didn't hear the word Scientology until I was 19 years old. Maybe I was 18, 19.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened was, when I was growing up, I'm going to back up. I'm going to tell you the whole story. It's a great story.
Please.
So when I was growing up, I had a really hard time in school, super hard. And when I was in middle school, I was falling very, very behind, and I was really illiterate. And my parents were really worried about this. They were really worried about my literacy and he's going to get held back in school. This is a problem. And I actually ended up seeing one of the school psychologists, and they diagnosed me with something called an auditory processing disorder.
Okay.
What does that mean?
Yeah, so auditory just means listening, and it basically means that I didn't pay attention.
You can't listen.
in school.
Yeah.
Yeah, the technical thing there, the psychologist was saying is you can't process things audibly, whatever. But to me, it just meant I was just daydreaming, not really paying attention a lot, right? So I was, getting a lot of private tutoring, and they were trying to handle my literacy, so I wasn't going to get held back. They were looking at holding me back possibly in 6th, 7th grade because my literacy level was so low. Okay, obviously getting held back in the 6th, 7th, 8th grade, whatever, would be incredibly demoralizing. So I was really determined to not have that happen. And a really funny thing, the year between 8th grade and 9th grade, I stumbled upon a book, and it's a really famous book that everyone's heard of. It's called The Hobbit by Tolkien, right? And I devoured this thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it changed my life, actually, this book. It really opened my whole universe up to art and other worlds, and, I was completely invested in this story, And then I became obsessed with reading science fiction and fantasy.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Obsessed.
And how were you able to even read that book?
Yeah,
I
was
don't-
it? It
I don't
sounds like
know. I don't really know,
Yeah.
to be honest with you.
Yeah, okay.
I don't really know. I think that to handle my literacy, I think I just needed something that was interesting to me, right? I think I was just bored.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I was just bored in school, to
Wow.
be real. I think I was just
that's super real to me.
I think I was
Yeah.
just bored, right? I don't think I was dumb,
Yep.
So I just was really engrossed in it. So if the book, so the summer between 8th and 9th grade, if the book didn't have a dragon on it or a spaceship, and if it wasn't at least 500 pages long,
Yes.
What?
That's a real science fiction nerd.
I wouldn't
there.
read
Yes.
it. I was
Wow.
a total science fiction nerd, and I got super into this.
Wow.
Then I got into high school.
Dude, you know what's funny?
Yeah.
That's totally real to me. I read a lot of science fiction
Yeah.
as a kid, especially in probably like 8th to like 10th grade.
Yeah.
And I literally had the same ideas. If the thicker the book, the more excited I was to read it.
Wow.
Which is a weird kind of, you think of it.
Well,
the
you're
opposite.
like, you want to get into the world. You want to.
Yeah.
it's more like
Yeah.
immersive.
For me, it was
Wow.
escapism, right?
Mhm.
Same.
Because I was pretty introverted. I was a pretty depressed kid,
Mhm,
right? Didn't have a lot of friends. I wasn't super social. And to me, real life just sucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I go to school, I would get bullied. I wouldn't get the right girl. It just sucked.
Yeah.
But if I would read these books, I'd be like, oh, I'm fighting someone with a lightsaber. Or I'm on a dragon, or it's awesome,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Okay, so all through high school, I would not do homework ever. I almost failed out of high school. I did really poorly, and my parents would be really confused because my parents would be like, okay, you're gonna sit in this room and you're gonna do homework for 2 hours, and you're not allowed to go on Nintendo or do anything until your homework's done. But what they didn't know is I would open my math book or my history book, and I would put a sci-fi book in the middle,
Yeah.
and I would just do that. And I was reading, 2 to 3 hours a day, science fiction, fantasy, and that eventually just handled my literacy. I had enough
Wow.
interaction with the language where my literacy went up. And okay, so you asked me how I got in Scientology. This is sequitur, so I'll come back to that. So I didn't know that L. Ron Hubbard was the founder of Dianetics and Scientology. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And somewhere along the line, I'd picked up a book that L. Ron Hubbard wrote called Fear.
Oh.
And this was the first L. Ron Hubbard book I'd ever read. And the reason why I picked Fear is because when I was in high school, I was a huge Stephen King fan.
Yeah.
I read anything and everything that Stephen King wrote.
Wow.
And I saw an interview with Stephen King. And in the interview, he suggested Fear by L. Ron Hubbard. He spoke very highly of it. I was like, okay, well, if the master is saying this, I'm going to read this book. So I read that book, loved it. Okay. 4 years later, I was graduating from high school. I, handled my literacy. I was very literate at this time. And I don't know why, but I just felt this urge that I had to get out of Orange County. I grew up in this world in Orange County, and it was great. I don't really have a lot of complaint about it. I actually had a pretty good childhood. My parents were amazing. But it was very I was in this bubble, and I knew there was so much to the world out there that I didn't know about. And I just had this urge to go on an adventure, just get out of there.
Wow.
And I had to leave. And what happened was I told my mom, I'm going to move to New York City. I'm going to go to New York City, and I'm going to study journalism. And my parents begged me not to go to New York.
Wow.
Because they knew I was never coming home.
Right.
They knew I was out. I was gone, right? I was going on an adventure. And they're like, New York's too far. It's too far away. So
And you're 18 at this point?
I was
or-
18.
Okay.
18. So I wound up going to San Francisco. And it's interesting. I went to San Francisco because the newspaper there, the San Francisco Chronicle, is quite famous. And it actually got really famous because, they've done a lot of investigative journalism. And there was all that buzz around. I don't know if you've followed true crime or anything like that. But this, the Zodiac killer, you heard about that at all? No? Okay. Anyways, I'm not going to get into a whole thing on the Zodiac. But basically, the Zodiac was a serial killer and that was super active in the 80s. Or
Is this is real life, not fiction now?
this is real life.
Okay, real life.
We're-
Okay,
we're
okay,
in
okay,
real
okay,
life,
okay.
right?
I don't know the details, but I've
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
of this.
And I could be screwing up the dates. Maybe it was in the 80s. I don't know. They made a movie out of it with Robert Downey Jr. a few years ago. It's a
Okay.
great movie. Okay, anyways, the Zodiac was like sending letters and like all kinds of threats to the public via the San Francisco Chronicle. It was pretty dark, right? But at this time in my life, this was like exciting to me. I was like, I want to like go on adventures and like try to catch killers or whatever. So I moved to San Francisco, and I went to the University of San Francisco, and I went to school there for a year, and I was majoring in English. It's so funny because I was like, illiterate, almost held back.
Wow.
And what I wanted to do was actually be a writer. This was like my dream, my passion. Okay. And what happened was I started to spend a lot of time around the newspaper industry. And right around this time, this is like 2004, 2005, the internet's like exploding.
Yeah.
Facebook's becoming a thing, and the newspapers are dying.
Yeah.
They're firing journalists left, right, and center. And I'm like, this isn't going to work. Like, how am I by the time I graduate, this industry is going to be gone.
Yeah.
Which at the time was a pretty hard blow for me, because I was like really excited about this, and it was like I was pretty directionless. And I had moved from Orange County as this like very confused teenager with some hope of like discovering myself in San Francisco, and that wasn't happening. Okay, so like I fell into like very deep depression, and I was really susceptible to influence. And I fell in with like kind of the wrong crowd.
Yeah.
Really, just people I shouldn't have been around. And I basically got into all the trouble that you could get into as a freshman in college with no life experience whatsoever. Okay. And what ended up happening was I ended up falling into like really heavy drug use, like really bad.
Wow.
What does that mean exactly?
Let me tell you. I'll tell you. So, I was just drinking and partying a lot, right? I was using marijuana a lot, and this really escalated to the point where I was using drugs, every day for a couple of years. And what happened was right when I turned 19, I got really sick. I actually had like a minor overdose from taking too much ecstasy, and I had a minor overdose, and it scared me. It scared the hell out of me, because after that happened, I was ill. I was sick for 3 weeks.
Whoa.
3 weeks, and what would happen is every morning I would wake up and I would dry heave. And it's like I'd throw up and nothing would come out. And I'd wake up in the morning, I'd feel like crap, and I'd go to the bathroom, and then I would just dry heave for like 20, 30 minutes. And the only way I could get my body to stop doing that was to take more drugs. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was a wreck, right? Total wreck. And the worst part about all this is because I was so physically messed up and I was like addicted to all these drugs and whatever, I actually was beginning to lose my ability to write as an artist. And my literacy level started to like decline, and my mental aptitude really started to go down.
And at that time, what were you writing? Were you writing
Everything.
articles? You submitting it for school? Did you publish anything?
I was writing for the school paper. Okay. I was just trying to I was just throwing stuff on the internet. I was writing a lot of short stories, things like that. I had written a full-length book that got rejected like 70 times by major publishing houses. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But what happened was I was so freaked out because I was only like 18, and I was like, I'm 18 years old. Where am I going to be in 20 years? My health. If I have these health problems at 18, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. I called my dad, and I just spilled my guts to him. I told him everything. I was like, I've been spending all my tuition money on drugs and alcohol and partying. I just had this overdose. I'm sick. I didn't know what to expect. Wow. I was like, is he going to kill me? Is he going to like scream at me? Like, what's going to happen? But I was at the bottom, right? So I just spilled all my guts to him, and I told him all this, what's happening. And he says to me, well, while you've been away at college, I got really involved in this new religion called Scientology. And I'd never heard of Scientology before. And I was like, okay, tell me about it. And then he starts telling me about Scientology, and he tells me it's a religion founded by the writer L. Ron Hubbard. And I went, I know who that is.
Wow.
I read that book, Fear, and I'd read another book by L. Ron Hubbard by this time called Battlefield Earth.
Amazing book.
Amazing.
book. Fantastic
Amazing.
book.
Yeah. Top 5 all time for me, for sure.
So good.
But I didn't ever know that L. Ron Hubbard was the founder of Scientology. So to me, my dad tells me this. And I was like, you're telling me that L. Ron Hubbard, the science fiction writer that wrote these books, this amazing master storyteller, founded a religion about unlocking your full spiritual potential. And he's like, yes. I was like, where do I sign up? Literally, that was the whole conversation. I was like, where do I sign up for this? Right? So he told me, go online, find the local church of Scientology, and walk in there. And walk in
Good
there.
advice.
Yeah, and there's a program. There's a program they offer called the Purification Rundown, and it's a detox program to help you rid your body of like drugs and toxins. It's a sauna program. And at this point, I would have done anything. So I go in there, and I just walk in the front doors, and I tell the receptionist, my dad's a Scientologist. He told me to come here and do the sauna program. And I was on that program the next day.
Wow.
I was on that. It was the first service in Scientology I ever did.
That's quick because you gotta get a doctor's note too.
Yeah,
so you were freaking running.
I was ready to do whatever it took, right? So I was in there, and that program saved my life.
Wow.
Completely saved my life. It was nothing short of a miracle. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks into that program, everything that was wrong with my body was corrected.
Wow.
I wasn't sick anymore. I was healed. It was honestly a miracle. It was an honest to God miracle. And I was such a lost soul at that time, right? I didn't know if am I going to be a journalist? Am I going to do this? Like, what am I going to do? So for me, when I first got in Scientology and I was reading Scientology books while I was on this program, for me, it was like walking into like Hogwarts or like Xavier's School for Gifted Children. I was like an X-Men or something. I was like, this is incredible. And I was all in. And I started working for the church mid that program. 2 weeks into it, I took a break from college and I started studying and practicing Scientology practically full time, like 10 hours a day, every day for 3-4 years. Because at that time I was just a kid. I didn't have the wife. I didn't have the bills. I had all this freedom. And I just went totally all in on it.
Wow.
And I really haven't looked back since. And since that time, I've essentially done almost everything you can do in Scientology. So that's the story.
Incredible.
That's how I got Scientology.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
What made you want to? Because there's people who, experience great gain from Scientology, but they're like, I want to tell people about it, et cetera. It's another level of commitment to actually decide, hey, I want to actually work at the church and actually fill one of the functions there. What made you decide to do that?
So, okay. That's a really good question.
Thanks.
And I honestly think the answer to that question has changed many times for me because I've been doing it for 20 years. And the reason why I do it now is different than the reason why I did it when I was 19. Okay. When I was 19 years old, the unfiltered, honest to God truth was I was terrified of going back on drugs. I was terrified of relapsing.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I didn't make new friends, if I didn't get in a clean group that was ethical, that was productive in society, I was just going to become a deadbeat again, right? I mean, I had friends that were getting arrested, going to jail for doing drugs, whatever, and it was like I had to get away from that, okay? So when I first got involved in working for the church, it wasn't out of some like humanitarian drive to help other people. To be really honest with you. It was like, oh, I can learn about this technology. I can learn about this religion, and I can make all of these great friends. And I saw that a lot of people in the Church of Scientology were quite successful, very happy, and I wanted that. And I wanted to be around it, and I wanted it to rub off on me. And I was in this position where I could just immerse myself in that. Okay, so then that was the original reason why I ended up getting involved.
Wow.
So
how was that on that?
Yeah.
So that was your reasoning. But how was like, I guess the recruitment? Like, was there like, hey, sign up? You're like, cool. Like how? It's just interesting because, you know,
Yeah.
I was recruited a certain way
Sure.
when I started working at the church, right? And
Yeah.
like, I just wonder, like, how was that?
Yeah, it was a very fast conversation.
Okay.
Actually, it didn't take a lot. Basically, the way it was positioned to me at that time was, you know, I was very, like I said, I was very lost. I was very directionless. I didn't know where I was going in my life. And the thing for me is part of why, in some weird way, part of why I always wanted to be a writer or why I wanted to get into journalism or something like that, because I wanted to do something that I felt was fulfilling. I wanted to do something where I felt I was helping people.
Yep.
Okay. Whether that was like getting involved in like political journalism or exposing the truth about what's really going on in the world, whatever, or even just writing science fiction fantasy books to help people escape the way it helped me.
Yep.
Right. I always wanted to do something like that I thought would better mankind, would help humanity. And when I experienced all of those gains and all those miracles doing that initial purification, that detox program, I just knew. I was like, there's nothing that I could do to help a person that would be more powerful than delivering Scientology to them. And I had complete subjective and objective reality on that. And I knew that to my core, right? So I was very excited to learn this technology for myself, not only just to help myself, but also to help other people. So the way I was recruited, the way that basically went is they basically sat me down. They said, look, here's the deal. We're hiring. You're 19 years old. You don't have any ties right now. If you want, you can start working here at the Church of Scientology, and we can train you. You can do all the Scientology training that there is full-time, kind of like a scholarship, right?
Oh, wow.
And I just jumped at that, right? Wow. So I started working there at the Church of Scientology in San Francisco. I did a lot of different jobs working in marketing, introducing new people to Scientology. Basically what I did, my first job there, I was basically touring new people.
Okay.
New people would come in, I would just tour them around. So I did that for a few months, and then from there...
And is that in the location that it is still now right now?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the same location, same church. The original Transamerica building.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, that
That's
building.
Cool.
Yeah, it's where... Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of services there myself.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
San Francisco, absolutely.
That's cool. Yeah, and then from there, I went up and I trained. I trained at higher levels in Scientology and different organizations in Scientology. The reason why I'm doing it now is a lot different than back then. Back then, it was a lot about me.
Yep.
It was a lot about, okay, I want to be around these people. I want to make friends with these people. I want to learn how they're making money. How are they having kids? How are they so happy? How are they handling their depression without smoking weed? I wanted to know those answers, right? So I was just all in on that. And that was really the original reason. And as I progressed in Scientology, I became a lot more aware of the broader mission of Scientology. That's a much different thing than what I originally did, right? So now my viewpoint on that's a lot different. But that was how I originally started.
Right.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I may have mentioned this to you on a message where I commented on one of the things.
No worries.
But back in roughly must have been 2008,
Okay.
2009.
Yeah.
Here in Clearwater, I was over here, and I was having a rough time, and they brought in this guy to help me, and that was you.
Really?
Yes. You actually gave me an auditing session.
Really? I think I remember this.
In Flag.
Now I remember.
Right?
Wow.
And man, I would just have to tell you, dude, when I met you for the first time, I was like, dude, this guy is amazing.
Really?
I was so impressed because I don't know exactly. Well, now I kind of understand what was happening, but I was just in a tough moment personally myself. And I didn't know, and I wasn't sure what I was doing, and I was kind of off, right? Kind of lost. And of course, I mean, I'm at the church, but still, it doesn't mean that everything's perfect. I don't know. It was a little bit rough for me. And you spoke with me, or you listened to me, I would say, is more of an appropriate thing. It must have been 2 hours, maybe, something like that. Maybe an hour, maybe 3 hours, whatever it was. It wasn't a long time. And I promise you, in that short time, I had a big change, like a huge change. Like I was really, I don't know, I just felt like a different person. And I just felt like whatever this magical thing you're doing with that e-meter was something happened. It was really unbelievable. And so thank you for that.
Yeah. Wow. Let's
go, Andy.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I do remember that. I mean, I've done a lot of Scientology counseling on a lot of people, you know, and it is very powerful, as you guys know.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, that came out of left field for
me. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
That hit me right here.
Yeah, no.
Like, wow, that was cool.
Yeah.
That was super cool. Super cool. And I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You know, I will say the thing about Scientology, okay, is it's not like some magic that only I have, right? Like Scientology really empowers people to help each other, right? And the thing is like in Scientology, I've learned what the basic purpose and meaning of life really is. I really have. And it's funny because people, you know, there's so many philosophical debates, like what's the meaning of life, what it is. And the simple answer is the actual purpose and meaning of life is to help.
Yeah.
And when you are helping on the level of magnitude that you feel you should be, that's when you're really happy, right? And that's when you're really, really there. And I think that, to me, is the biggest gift that Scientology has given me. It's made it so I could help people at the level that I really want to. And it's also made it so I could receive the help, right? Because even like that experience you talked about, I've had that experience. People have sat down and helped me. It's not like I'm just sitting there helping everyone, like while I'm like going through it, right? You know, yeah, it's powerful. That was a great story.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome. Absolutely true. And
awesome.
It was
that's awesome.
It's interesting because, you know, there's some times that like things change.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just, it's what I love about this religion is how many people are there for you.
Right.
Like, it's very surprising. Totally like, as you're saying, I mean, like at the church, you get paid not much. Sure. I mean, let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, I'm not working at the church for money. No, exactly. There's much easier ways to make money. Yeah. It's not like I'm a real estate mogul or something.
It's a, and again, we can talk about maybe how much it is. It's not a lot, guys. It's not. You do not like. It's not where maybe it should. Maybe you could be great. Like, you know what I mean. Like, definitely in other religions, you're making a lot more working at the church.
Sure.
From my understanding, right? Like, it's very, very difficult to raise a family with a church pay. So most people have 2 jobs. Like, anyway, all I'm saying is, dude, you're not there for money.
Right.
You weren't there for money. Okay, that's the point.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just you. It was various people. Right. I could name a lot of people that helped me through and get things. And like now I feel like I have a fantastic life, and I was on a very different path at one point. And it's just the amount of people. Like the fact that like you happen to be the guy who helped me in that time, and then you're like also the guy doing social media, and then we're doing this podcast. It's like, dude, but there's people like all over doing this. And so I just think like it's so wonderful. And I think a lot of religions are the same way, where people are just there to help you.
Right.
And it's such a beautiful thing because, man, the psychiatrists and psychologists are not. I mean, yes, some guys maybe signed up to help people, but like at the core, you know, there's a lot of documentaries, guys. You can go on and watch some documentaries on psychiatry on Scientology TV. Okay, check out the I'll put the link on there, but like the documentaries on what psychiatry does. It is money fueled. The diseases are invented, and you bill the insurance tens of thousands of dollars, and it's like. That is the help that's offered in a lot of places. Right. And those are the guys that say that religion is bad. And every religion is bad, and this, and Christianity's bad, and Muslims bad, and Scientology's bad, and whatever, Jews are bad, like Mormons are bad. Like, the guys saying that are not religious people. Right. They are the psychiatrists that want you to not have any solution.
They're anti-religious.
Anti-religious. Yeah. And so, I don't know, I just think it's so cool that, like, that happens here, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it is cool. It's definitely super cool. And it's interesting you bring up all these other religions, right? I read an article, you know, I didn't like super deep dive into this, but I read an article a few weeks ago that church attendance is skyrocketing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not just like all church, Christianity, Catholicism, Judaism, church attendance in general is going way, way, way up.
Yeah.
I also read in the same article, the sale of Bibles is going through the roof, which is interesting, right? because I think that when I was growing up, that wasn't the case. You know,
It's probably going down.
it was going down. Church attendance was declining. I mean, I've only been to Catholic school. I went to Catholic school through preschool all the way through college. USF, University of San Francisco, is a Jesuit Catholic school, and I saw the decline in church attendance my whole life up till But recently, I've seen the opposite. I've seen the churches are starting to boom again, right? Really start to grow again, and I think that is awesome. I really think that's awesome because I think that the role of religion in society and the role of spirituality in society, it should be very prominent, right? I think that if we're going to have a civilization that's kind, that's caring, right? It's going to be built on religious principles.
Yes.
It doesn't matter to me what your religious background is, okay? Just because there are commonalities amongst all religions. And one of those commonalities, I think the strongest point of all religion is that it acknowledges that you're a spiritual being.
Yes.
And if I know that you're a spiritual being, I'm gonna look at you differently than I would look at like this table.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Or this like microphone, right? Obviously, you probably would get mad if I broke this microphone. It's like a little bit of money down, right? That's your property. But I wouldn't treat this microphone with the same level of respect as you because you're a human being, because you're a spiritual being. But if I actually like take on the viewpoint that you're not a spiritual being and you're just an animal or you're just chemicals, all your feelings are just chemical reactions in your brain, right? Then what's to stop me from ripping you off, from harming you, from hurting your business, from killing you? And I actually believe that the root cause of violence and crime and drug use and war on this planet is because people no longer believe that they're spiritual beings. And I think that if I think that these people that are causing war, right, the people behind it, I think that if they truly understood that their fellow man was a spiritual being, I think that they would think twice before harming him or killing him. And and the only institution that's going to bring that viewpoint shift about on a mass scale is religion.
Yes.
It has to be religion, right? I'm not saying it has to be exclusively Scientology. That's not what I'm saying. I think it's religion in general is going through a bit of a renaissance right now.
Yes,
I think people are waking up to that. They're like, oh, there's more going on than my credit score or the car I'm sitting in. Like, what does all this mean?
Charlie Kirk helped a lot with that.
Absolutely.
A ton.
Yeah. I agree. I wasn't going to bring that up, but I do think that
There we go.
I think that his work really...
Well, dude, if you look at the age group that he was really affecting, it's the 20 to 30 age group.
Right.
People who are like, when something becomes cool, it becomes cool with that age group first, and then it ages up.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I see happening with religion.
I agree. And I think a lot of what he did was a driver behind the increase in church attendance,
absolutely,
Bible sales, things like that. Yeah, but I'm all for it, man. I'm all for a religious life, a spiritual life, you know.
Yep.
So on that same kind of path of like, religious renaissance, what you're doing with obviously the social media for the Church of Scientology San Francisco is amazing.
Thanks.
I think of like when I started seeing there's a lot of people who like make TikToks about the fact that they get like every other feed or every other video in their TikTok feed is a Scientology video from all the different orgs.
Sure.
Do you know about this phenomenon?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So when I think about that, when that started, I just picture your face.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Scientologist, obviously, it's going to know, boom, give me that content as soon as it comes out.
Yeah.
Mine, it's like everyone is just Scientology on my TikTok feed. But what made you, and obviously it's more than just TikTok. Why? Like, what made that start?
Yeah, well, let's get into that.
Was it you?
No.
Oh, okay. He's giggling like it was him.
That's right. That's right. Well, okay. I'm in an interesting position, okay, because I've been around Scientology for a long time, right? Like we said, 20 years I've been working there. So there's virtually no question that I've heard about Scientology that I haven't heard before. I've heard everything about there is to know about Scientology, or I've heard everything people have to ask about it.
Yep.
Their confusions, their curiosity, the weird stuff that they've heard, you know, the laughable things that they've heard is like obviously false, whatever. I've just heard it all. Okay. And I have this like long experience of that, of dealing with people who are uneducated about Scientology and educating them. So I had that in my background. The other thing I had for me in my background is that I've essentially done every Scientology service that you can do. There's maybe like 2 that I haven't done, which I will do, but I haven't done them yet, right?
Yeah.
But in terms of the written word of everything that L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology, wrote, or everything he ever said, I've studied and listened to all of it.
Yeah.
All of it, you know. So, you know.
And just so people get a like context, that's roughly like, I think there was somewhere where he talks about the amount of words, but it's like a lot of words.
76 million.
No, I think it was either like 4 million or 20 million. No, I don't know. It's a lot of words, dude. It's a lot of books.
I don't know
like
the actual word
the
count.
hour. Yeah, okay.
I don't know the actual word count.
It's a lot of millions of words, dude. Like, come on, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So okay, so it's interesting, and I'm not saying I'm just gonna say this to you guys. I'm not saying this to like win some trophy or out of like some bragging thing, but the reality is
Get the trophy.
Exactly. You guys brought me a trophy, right? The actual reality is because of how much Scientology I've studied and how many Scientology services I've done, there's actually very, very, very few people who have done more in Scientology than me.
Wow.
Very few. It's probably like, you know, I'm in the top 1%, probably less than 1% most educated Scientologists around, right?
Yep.
And I've had interaction with Scientologists from all over the world, from all the different branches, from the very top to the bottom. I've had interactions with, you know, and I have good relationships with top church management, the highest, you know, leaders of our church, all the way down to the guys like me working on the ground, right? So
And you are an ordained minister?
I am an ordained minister.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm an ordained minister of Scientology. I was ordained when I was 21
Wow.
when I finished my ministry, right?
Good job.
Yeah, one thing people don't know about the ministry.
How many people have you married?
I've actually never done.
You never done a marriage ceremony?
No, I
Whoa!
haven't. I know. I've done a lot of other types of things. I did like a christening.
Christening.
You
Yeah,
know, I've
yeah,
done
it's
some of that,
beautiful.
but I've never done a marriage. Someday, it's on the bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I was saying was, so why I got in the social media thing is
No, in the ministry. They were going to say about the ministry.
Oh.
Something about ministry. What people don't know about the ministry. Or...
Oh, yeah. So one thing you have to understand about Scientology is Scientology is not a belief system. Okay? It's not a faith-based system.
True.
You're never asked to believe anything in Scientology. You're only asked to look and make up your own mind about something. Because if you look, right, and you make up your own mind about something, that is real faith. Okay? Like if you guys were in the other room and you guys hadn't been in this room before and I was trying to convince you that there was a microphone and a desk in here, you're just taking my word for it. Okay? And someone else could come along and argue that there's not a desk and microphone in here, and you don't know who to listen to.
Yeah.
But if you walked in the room and you saw the desk, touched the microphone, okay, there's a microphone and desk here, it'd be extremely difficult for me to convince you that this microphone and desk was not in here. It was something else.
Right.
Really, really impossible. And when you apply something in Scientology and you see that it works, you see that it helps you, you see that it raises your IQ, increases your happiness level, increases your stability.
Got you off of drugs.
Got you out drugs, whatever. That's real faith.
Yeah.
That's real knowingness. That's real belief. Okay? And that is an unshakable faith.
Yeah.
Okay? Which is why Scientology is so powerful. It means the study of knowledge. Right? Knowing how to know. It's the definition of Scientology. So when you know how to know something, you don't bend on that. You really have high integrity. Okay?
That's true.
So the thing in Scientology, though, is that nothing in Scientology invalidates other religious practices. We didn't, L. Ron Hubbard didn't design Scientology to detract or take away from other churches. It was actually designed to complement them.
Yeah.
Okay? And as part of my ministry training, the thing that people ask me all the time, what do you do to train to be a Scientology minister? I could talk about that for a long time. But one of the things that you're required to do is you do exhaustive studies of other religions. Because there's a lot of basic fundamental truths in other religions. And it's interesting because I grew up Catholic. And I truly never really understood the teachings of Christ. I really didn't quite get them. And as part of my Scientology ministry training, I had to do an exhaustive study of the Bible with a heavy emphasis on the Gospel of John.
Wow.
Which was the gospel that L. Ron Hubbard specifically directed that Scientology ministers study and get examined on that gospel to really understand it.
Did you know this?
No, I did not know this.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And it's incredibly powerful. It's incredibly powerful, because the basic tenets of Christ and his teachings and the kingdom of heaven and what he was trying to communicate to humanity are laid out in that gospel. So I am a huge advocate of spirituality, the teachings of Christ, the teachings of all world religions. And anyways, it's a kind of a fun fact about what I had to go through to be a Scientology minister.
Wow.
Okay, so all that being said, I looked at all of that, and I looked at all of my knowledge of Scientology, all my experience, and I kind of just looked in the mirror one day, and I was like, I don't think that there's a better person more suited to get on social media and just start disseminating our religion, because I'm just an encyclopedia when it comes to Scientology. I have all the answers. I know its history. I've had interaction with all of church management from the top down. I've done everything there is to do, and when you have that, there's a little bit of responsibility that comes with it, right? So I was like, okay, I feel like this is like my duty, my responsibility to start doing this. I didn't necessarily start doing it out of some idea that like, oh, I'm going to become famous from this. That wasn't my intention. But I also wanted to like start doing it to, one, because it was exciting for me. It was very adventurous. Yeah. And two, I had a lot of conversations over the years of other people wanting to do it, wanting to get involved with doing it. Like you mentioned the other churches doing it, right? Yeah. And I was like, well, someone's got to break the ice on this. Yeah. Someone's got to break the ice on this. And one thing I'll never let it be said about me, I'll never let it be said anywhere. You can say a lot of things about me. I've had a wild life. But I'll never let it be said that Andy Holmes was deficient in guts. I'll never let that be said about me. So I was like, oh, no. If something is like, if the only consideration to not doing it is some kind of fear or anxiety, I'll jump. I'm always the first guy in that room to do that. I don't care, right? And I'm very proud to talk about my life, my experience in my religion. You mentioned the other churches. So when this whole thing first started, my phone started blowing up like crazy. People were like, how are you doing this, whatever. And I would just say, what you should do? If you want to start, just start. And if you don't know where to start, just start copying my videos. Shot for shot, word for word. And then you'll get a feel for it. You'll start learning social media and you just start going, So that's kind of how that started and why I started doing it.
Yeah. And how's it been? How have the results been for the San Fran work?
Oh, it's been awesome. It's been awesome. It's really exciting because the truth is, as you guys know, when you're a Scientologist, all you want to do is tell other people about Scientology. That's right. Sure. Yeah.
That's why we're here.
I know. And it's like something really helps you. Something truly changes the course of your life. You want to tell other people.
Yeah. What I would say, Andy, is it's like you want to be like, guys, I found it. What we've all been looking for. Here it is.
Yeah.
You
want to do that.
That's kind of my experience of what you're describing.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And the thing is I love to talk to people, right? I talk to people all day, and I love to talk to people about Scientology. Yeah. So I sort of just opened up all my communication lines, and I was just, let's just blow them open. Here I am. I'm a Scientologist. If you have questions, fire away. Let's get into it. Some of the results. I mean, I don't know. The metrics are crazy. I've done work in social media before, and I've worked with different social media accounts or different businesses trying to do social media. And there's definitely Scientology is like a buzzword on the internet.
Yes,
people want to know about it. They're curious about it. They're like, what is it? So it was pretty shocking. All I had to do was stand there, and I obviously in my church uniform, I basically just stood there and said, "Hi, I'm a Scientologist. I work for the Church of Scientology." And that in itself just garnered an insane amount of attention.
Yeah.
I think the first month, I wasn't even posting every day the first month. I think in the first 3 weeks, I did like 3.2 million views in like 3 weeks.
Wow.
And this is all organic, right?
Yeah, I don't pay anything.
Yeah,
we just post it, you know. And it's kind of funny. Like, I'll walk around the city, and I've been recognized a few times. You know, I go to like coffee shops, and people come up to me like, "Oh, you're the Scientology TikTok guy." You know, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. And you know, I get all kinds of. The thing that's amazing about social media is it goes planet wide.
Yep.
Yes.
And now I have like my DMs are just loaded with people all over the world asking me questions about Scientology, how do I get started, whatever. So yeah, it's been really exciting.
It's a great question. So they're asking like, hey, how do you start in Scientology?
Yeah.
And like, obviously you're the wealth of knowledge, as we've discussed.
Sure.
How should someone start?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is tell you how not to start.
Okay, good.
Okay? I'm going to tell you how not to start.
Okay, good.
The first thing you should do, what you should not do, is go seek out someone else's opinion about it. Okay? Because then you're just getting someone else's opinion about it. And one of the very first principles in Scientology is that you should look for yourself. And what's true for you is what's true for you based off of what you have seen, what your experiences are. You know, and when you decide for yourself, like we went over, that's real faith. That's when you really believe something, your own perception, okay? So much of what happens in our society today is when you're confronted with a decision or you're confronted with like a crossroads is you'll go out and you'll get everyone's opinion about it.
Yeah.
And you'll talk to like 10 different people about your career path, whatever it is. You'll get 10 different opinions. And if you build your life path based off all these opinions, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yep.
Right.
Okay? So if you want to get started in Scientology, I would not advise going out and getting a bunch of opinions from a bunch of people. I would really advise that you look for yourself. Okay? And the first thing I always say is you should read a book by L. Ron Hubbard. Pick up either a copy of, it's a book called Dianetics, right? That was the first book he wrote on the subject, Dianetics, Modern Science and Mental Health. That book really covers how past trauma and loss affects you in your life now, okay? And how to get alleviation from that and how these things really cause negative emotions, irrationality. And you can use the material in that book to like get the pieces of yourself that you lost in these moments of trauma. You can get them back. Okay, and that book all lays it out for you. The other book I always suggest people read is called Scientology, A New Slant on Life.
So good.
It's a great book. It's a collection of essays that L. Ron Hubbard wrote on the subject of spirituality, religion. And if you read those two books, you will know what Dianetics and Scientology is about. And the reason why I say read a book, okay? If you wanted to get involved in Christianity and you went all over the internet to research Christianity and you talked about a bunch of people about Christianity, but you never bothered to pick up the Bible and read the Bible, your opinion of Christianity will be based off of other people's opinions. But if you went to Sunday service and you observed what happened in a church of Christianity, right, or a Catholic church, and you read the Bible, now you know. Now you're educated, okay? And you've formulated your own opinion about it, and you can say, this is for me or it's not for me. So, yeah, the simple answer, if you want to get started in Scientology, look for yourself. Read a book. The amount of questions and things that I answer for people that they've gotten from just opinions of others is really out there.
Yeah.
It's really wild. And I could spend the rest of my life fielding those questions. But the reality is just read the book for yourself, and that will answer your questions. And it'll give you the full scope of what Scientology is really about and what it can do for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your favorite question to get asked by public on social media?
My favorite question?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's an inch. Let's see. Well, I guess the thing for me is, I get asked, why do I work for the Church of Scientology? A lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll get asked like, oh, what have you gotten out of it? What gains can I expect? Whatever. But people will ask me. It's one because the thing is, Scientology as a religion is big.
Yes.
But the vast majority of Scientologists do not work for the Church of Scientology.
True.
Yeah. The ministry is not the majority of our religion.
Yep.
Right? So because I've been doing it for 20 years, I get asked that question. Well, why are you working there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm going to come full circle here because you guys asked me why I started working for the Church of Scientology in the first place. The reason why I work for the Church of Scientology now is vastly different than when I first started working.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've got a lot more life under my belt. I'm not a 19-year-old kid anymore, right? Now I've been married. I've got 2 kids. I've got the 13-year-old daughter, so I'm learning all about that. You know, and I've got the sassy 5-year-old daughter, which is super cute. So I've got this family, right? And for me, you guys are parents, right?
Yes.
Right?
I have 4. He has 2.
Yeah. When you become a parent, something changes in you.
Oh yeah.
Completely, right? Life all of a sudden has very little to do with what you personally need and want.
Mm-hmm.
And it is all about that child.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And, you know, and sometimes when people look at that and they don't have kids, they're like, oh, I don't want kids. It's a lot of sacrifice, whatever. And the thing that people don't get, this will be real to you guys, is when you have a kid, that's a sacrifice you willingly make.
Absolutely.
Because your existence, your sole purpose in life is now to make sure this child grows up in a sane world where that kid can be a better version of you, right? I mean, people get competitive, right? And there's like, you know, they'll talk like, you'll get in like your industry, you want to like one up your competition, whatever. The only real person in the world that you're like, oh, I want this person to surpass me is your children,
Yeah.
right? So for me, it really became, I don't want my kids to grow up doing all the dumb stuff that I did. I don't want them getting into the drugs, the bad environment. I don't want them getting exposed to all of this. And I don't want them to grow up in a world where there's war and mass shootings and just insanity, right? So for me, I'm extremely motivated by the idea that religion and the expansion of religion can bring about the next great renaissance on this planet.
Yes.
And our children will inherit that. And I'm willing to put in the work for my kids, for future generations. You know, I actually consider it the highest calling that I could answer to, you know. Because sometimes I'll get like weird questions, like almost like degrading questions, like, oh, don't you feel like you're wasting your life? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of funny. Like I always had an adverse reaction to like growing up, an adverse reaction to like getting a job at like a corporate job,
Yeah.
right? And it never made sense to me why I hated that so much. But the real reason why I think I pushed back against it is because I feel, and I have always felt, almost a divine purpose to help other people, you know. And I've never, the happiest times of my life is when I was helping someone else and that person was really being helped, and that there's no feeling like that whatsoever, right? So yeah, how could you have an unhappy existence if every day full time you were helping people get off drugs, save their marriages, save their businesses, attain higher spiritual awareness, become part of a very positive community?
Yeah.
I mean, I live a very fast, electric life.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine doing anything else that would be as fulfilling. So yeah, that's the long-winded answer.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, dude, I'm thinking about what you said about putting a better world there for your kids. I was at an event, I guess this was early last year now, about a year ago.
Yeah.
And somebody was asking for me to help with basically contribute financially to a project that needed to be funded. And I went to this event on kind of like explaining what the plan was, like what it was going to be, what the results are going to be. And it was really about, you know, the message was really like, it was a small piece of it, but it really like hit me super hard.
Yeah.
Like what kind of a world do you want your kids to grow up in? And this was specifically focused on drug use. And it was like what type of friends do you want your kids to have? Do you want them all to be on prescription drugs? Do you want them to be all on recreational drugs? And it was just like, I was like, oh my God. It really hit me. And it was like the amount of money that was needed was more than I had. And I literally went, it was so like inspiring, and it was so, to your point of like, you just do whatever it is willingly, happily for your kids. I literally went and borrowed the money to go and fund what was asked, and it was like happy to do it. And it was tough. Like, it handled it, like got it paid back, but it was not an easy thing to do. But I was extremely happy that I did it, and I still am. It's easier to say it now that the money's paid back, but it's like,
now that it's done.
even then when I was like, how am I going to handle this? It's like, I think to any of the parents watching, it's a great point. And, you probably, I would have to imagine, feel that to some extent about the new people that walk into the church, and you're like, I'm like, these people have no idea how much I'm going to help them, or the lengths you will go to help these people who you don't even know.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I really believe in people. It doesn't matter where they are in life, how, rich or poor they are, how criminal they've been. One thing that Scientology has taught me is that people are basically good. Right? And the idea behind Scientology is not to focus on all the negative about you. And go, we're going to fix all these negative things about you. The idea is to find that piece of you that's good and grow it and make it better. And if you can expand that goodness in the person, it's like a light that will then erase all of the negativity around the being.
Yes.
And that's the whole purpose of Scientology. And the thing is, it's like,
it's almost like it pushes out the negativity.
And like the thing that I get so passionate about Dianetics and Scientology is the general, when people are suffering, they don't have to. And they don't know that they don't have to. They actually don't, right?
That's a great point.
I just, it is that statement right there.
Yeah.
I really want to say it's so true. Like I remember watching the TV, right? When all I did in the day was watch TV.
Yeah.
As a kid, teenager, young teen, and watching like these commercials, right? The Zoloft. If you guys ever seen the Zoloft commercial,
little
right?
Thing
little bouncing guy, and it's like, hey, you're depressed. It could be this thing, and maybe just somehow you might have a little shred of hope, and just take this pill, and you'll be fine. People have fallen for it.
I know.
I mean, the use is somewhere estimated between 1 in 6 to 1 in 4 of Americans are on some sort of psychiatric drug,
right?
Some sort of medication. I mean, it is an insane, and people fall for it because I was very close. Luckily, I didn't have a credit card, so I couldn't buy the thing. But I was like, I want this. I don't want to be sad anymore. And the fact that it's available, like, instead of being on a pill for life that's going to destroy your health and cost you a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
You could do a $100 seminar.
Yeah.
You could rent a book from the library and do work with a friend.
Yeah.
You could do like such simple things and not have to live with that suffering.
Yeah.
That's why we're here. That's why we're on this thing. Like, please, like, go see for yourself. That's the message. Like, go see. Be like, look, dude, don't take the other people's opinion. We've already taken other people's opinions.
I know.
You've already been taking the opinions. Like, this drug will be the one that helps you. This whatever thing is the one that's been tested and blind. And those trials are manufactured. But and it's fine.
A joke.
So it's true and it's possible. And what you've been saying the last little bit reminds me to the beginning of the story.
Yeah.
With The Hobbit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm serious. Like, when you look at a person's potential. No, listen. When you look at
we're living the plot of the Lord of the Rings right now.
When you look at a person's potential, could you imagine like Frodo's coming out and you're like, oh, dude, you're too short. You too this. No, you're like, dude, somehow you're just a clean guy.
Yeah.
You're like, there's nothing really special other than like, you're not corrupted.
His ethics.
No, is that like
his ethics?
He had a. I don't know if you know this. You know the story more than me. I haven't read it. Okay. I haven't read it, but like I've seen the movies.
I know.
But like
the movies are good. The movies are good.
There's like the guy he's not like a super special, but you bring out through the occasion, through the stories, and I'm homeschooling my kids now.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've read some podcasts and stuff or listened to podcasts about like homeschooling. That listen, make sure you read stories of heroism.
Yeah.
Of making a difference, of doing these big things. Because if not, the alternative to doing something that's making a difference is to go to some random corporation who you don't care about the mission, you don't care about the purpose, you don't mind drugging little kids to make a profit
Right.
because they're not inspired by heroes.
Right.
So I just think there's this idea where if you know heroes can be, and it's in the moments that define them, what you do with your life, and then you decide to do something heroic. Like, you need stories. Like, I just don't know this life. Without stories, without art, without music, without something, you just go to the corporate route. Like, oh, good, I'm going to look online, top paying job. That's what I'm going to take. And then let the money follow you.
Yeah.
But that's not, like, that's not heroic.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this all ties back to The Hobbit.
The Hobbit.
No, sorry.
Yeah, it all comes back to Tolkien. The One Ring.
Jeez.
Yeah, but I'm with you. I mean, I think that part of why, I mean, for me, everything's like so connected. It's so funny that you brought up The Hobbit again. But like, to me,
Okay, I have to interrupt and tell you
go
one thing
ahead.
about The Hobbit that I was like,
Tell
I've
me.
been burning to say. When I was a kid, like 5 through probably like age like 5 through 9, my dad used to read me The Hobbit before bed.
That's awesome.
That was my first fiction book because that's
That's
what my
awesome.
dad would read me before.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Anyways, sorry, continue.
That's cool. Well, the thing I love about The Hobbit, honestly, is not just The Hobbit. It's like the reason why I was so invested in science fiction, fantasy, whatever, and these different stories. And I really like what you said. But the thing is the message that I like to communicate in those stories, even as a writer or even reading those stories, right, is the whole idea is not to convince people that dragons are like real, obviously, right? But the metaphor of it is to show people that, yeah, dragons are real. There are some evil people out there, but not only are they there, the message is you can also slay them.
Yep.
Yes.
You can win over them, right? You don't need to hide or to run away or whatever. And whatever that dragon is, whatever that piece of evil is, it's different for different people, right? You know what the number one fear in America is?
What?
Fear of heights?
What I'm about to say might be statistically true. So, like, I'm not going to say it as an absolute fact, but I've read this before. It's public speaking.
Yes, no, that's true.
What? The
Yes,
number
that's true.
one
Yeah.
fear?
Yeah,
Yes.
public speaking.
Yes, that's true.
Biggest phobia people have is public speaking.
That's crazy.
I know.
I've read that from many
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
sources. Yeah.
But that could be the dragon that people have, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of illogical if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're public speaking, it's not like they're going to shoot you
Right.
or stab you or
Yeah.
beat you. The only thing that happens is you see and you hear something, right? But that could be a big dragon for someone that they might have to overcome. Another thing it's really, that I bring up to people about Scientology is like a lot of people come to talk to me and I'll talk to them about what they're running into in life. And it's very interesting because I've like so many people have opened up to me over the past 20 years about what's bothering them, what's ruining them, what's upsetting them. Well, one commonality, a common thing that people bring up is they don't like confrontation.
Yes.
Or they like my wife gets angry at me and I just shrink up. Or I can't confront talking to him, right? And the thing that's wild about it is if you think about it objectively, okay? All that happens when you're talking to someone, even if they're yelling and screaming at you, is you are seeing something and hearing something. That's it. They're not physically beating you or assaulting you or whatever, right? All they are doing is making noise that you can hear and doing something with their body that you can visualize. And the thing that people don't understand is what actually makes them really uncomfortable is what's going on mentally when they're hearing and seeing these things, right? And the beautiful thing about Scientology is that it puts you fully in the present so you can perceive and see and hear without having your attention just thrown into your mind.
Yes.
Right? Totally just thrown into your mind, and you can just be there and handle that thing. So, yeah, if you really can master that, Scientology gives you that tool. You can slay that dragon. We'll come back to Middle Earth, right? But you can conquer that fear, that thing, or whatever it is. Yeah. So, anyways, I just thought about that. It was kind of interesting you brought that up.
Gandalf the White of communication.
That's right. Gandalf the White.
One thing I want to propose here on air.
Sure.
Oh, here we go.
There is an advice, I guess, from our founder, right, L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah.
Which is to gather a sort of question and answer, and this is paraphrased or whatnot, but like question and answer to like the most common misconceptions about Scientology, the most common misconceptions about what we do about that stuff. Put it together and be like, hey, here is all the answers.
Yeah.
Here is the truth. Here is the citation, the source of like, here's this rumor. Here's the answer.
Yeah.
You know, and I've read that, and I've never found a place that has that put together.
Well,
unless you know of one.
There's two places.
Okay.
There's a book that anyone can order. It's called What is Scientology?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like an FAQ. Has all the common questions and answers.
Bro, that's not a book. That's a tome.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It's one of those
pretty
fat
big.
ones. It means you'd be
Yeah.
excited to read it.
It's like
It means you'd be.
Yeah. So that entire tome, all the content in that has been like put in like PDF digital form on Scientology.org. And if you have a question, you just go on Scientology.org and you type in the question, and it will link it to the FAQ that L. Ron Hubbard created and that the church put out to answer common questions. And it has an answer to like virtually anything you could think. It's really interesting. I like read pieces of it, and there's like questions in there that have asked that are answers I never even thought to ask. It's like I've been around a long time.
Yeah.
It's really wild to see that. But yeah, for sure.
Okay, so we'll put a link on that. I was gonna say, hey, we should put something together
We can.
and offer it. Like, hey,
Yeah. We absolutely
go
could.
search your stuff, and maybe it's already there. I just didn't know. I mean, I know that I've seen a few where I'm surprised. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that answer existed.
Yeah, it's already there. It's all there. There's like virtually no question that you could come up with that isn't in there. And exhaustive projects have been done to put that together. But anyways, like if you want to ask me directly, whatever, I don't comment, DM, whatever.
Oh yeah. So
I'm
what
easy
are
to
like
reach.
what's like the most common question you get? I guess that like, dude, here's the answer. I mean, you probably answered already on your thing, but
well, the most common question I get is, what does Scientologists actually believe? That's the most common question I get. And it's a tricky one to answer because, like I said, Scientology is not a belief system.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason why.
Oh my God, I never considered that.
Yeah, it's not a belief
true.
system.
It's like I believe what's true for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
And the idea of Scientology. Okay, so if you were to ask me, like when Tesla first started like blowing up, released the electric car, right? What is a Tesla?
Dude, you know what? I'm sorry for interrupting. You know what I just realized is that's why people keep asking that freaking question so much. Is because there's not an answer.
Right.
There's not one answer.
No.
There's infinite answers.
Right.
Like the point of Scientology is what's true by your observation is true.
Right. You got it.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Yeah. So.
But people are expecting there to be like, no, you believe this, and this,
Yeah.
and this, and that's what it is. But that's not how Scientology.
No, it's not how Scientology works. Not how Scientology works at all. So okay. So yeah, if you're like,
so let's say the Tesla.
you're like, what's
Tesla,
a Tesla?
yeah.
I'd be like, oh, a Tesla. It's a car that works on electricity, and that makes sense to you because you can compare it to something else, right?
Yeah.
So when people ask me, like you could say Catholicism is like Christianity, but it has a little bit different color to it, a little bit more structured or different belief system, right? I don't have something like that to compare Scientology to. It would be inaccurate for me to say, oh, Scientology is like Buddhism. There's commonalities.
Well, Scientology is like physics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a guy who did a bunch of experiments and found out that this holds true over as many experiments as he could possibly do, and then derived a law from it.
Right. You got it.
That's actually it's science.
Yeah.
That is the closest parallel to Scientology.
It is science.
And if you test and observe that it is true, you then would adopt that law. That literally is the definition of how science works. I have a bachelor's in physics.
I can tell.
Just by definition, that is the definition of science.
Yeah.
That is the comparable.
I have a bachelor in English literature.
There you go. I love English literature.
Nice.
Sorry.
But that's the question I get asked the most. What do Scientologists believe? And the best answer I can give is that there are certain basic truths that you have to sort of take on as truth, that you have to believe in order for Scientology to work. And those basic truths are, you're not your body. You are a spiritual being. Okay? You are basically good. Okay? Scientology does acknowledge the existence of a supreme being, God, a creator. But Scientology actually isn't a subject about God or the creator. But there's no way where you could develop a spiritual religion around you as a spiritual being without acknowledging the divine, But the divine and the supreme being, we leave that up to you. And the reason why I love that and why that's so beautiful in Scientology is because when you decide for yourself what that relationship between you and God is going to be, and you define that for yourself, it is a very powerful, unshakable thing. It's not something you're not being told how to have that relationship. So Scientology is actually more about you as an individual spiritual being. It's not about a supreme being. But those are like the basic things that we believe in. A couple beliefs that we have in Scientology that you guys know this, but how I answer this question is people can get better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that might sound oversimplified, but there's so many like philosophies or different ideas out there where people can't get better.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, you have depression? Every psychiatrist out there will tell you, and they'll tell you this, you can't cure it.
Yeah.
You have it. You have it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It's not true. It's not true.
Yeah.
You can cure your depression without
Absolutely.
Scientology.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know
True.
what to tell
Yep.
you.
Yep.
You're depressed, go on a hike, go to Disneyland, go on a vacation.
Bro, ride a dirt bike.
Yeah, you'll probably feel better.
Yeah.
Right?
Ride a jet ski. I've never seen a
Right.
depressed person on a jet ski.
Yeah, so that's exactly. So those are like the basic truths that you do have to study Scientology from the viewpoint of those things in order for it to really work.
Yeah.
Right? If you study Scientology from the viewpoint that I'm nothing but a body and all of my emotions are just electrical impulses or mixtures of chemicals in my brain, yeah, it's not going to work.
Yeah, or even if destiny is laid out rock and you cannot do anything.
Yeah.
If it's all laid out for you, then and you're nothing, you're not gonna really work out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's hard to have a meaningful life when the idea is that this is it. This is my body. I live into my 80s, 90s. Maybe I make it to 100, and then I go back to the dirt.
Yep.
And that's the end of it. It's kind of a depressing
Very
existence.
depressing.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's that viewpoint, I feel, that has led to atomic war
Yes.
and the mass drugging of people
Mm-hmm.
and whatever. Because, this is also really interesting because I had a really big blinding realization about Christ and about Christianity. And some historian could challenge this. I'm not claiming to be like a religious historian or something. But Christ, I think that Christ, his teachings, I actually think that he brought about the destruction of, maybe destruction is not the right word, but the reshaping and the downfall of the Roman Empire. I really believe that because one of the things they were doing is they were losing control. They were losing control of the population because Christ was out educating people about spirituality, and they didn't like that. So they're going to off this guy, right? Yeah. The thing that he did that's so beautiful is that Christ, on a mass scale, taught people that they were spiritual beings and that there was life after death. And if you died here, it's not the end. You're an immortal spiritual being. You continue.
Yeah.
You've lived before, you will live again, right? And if you live correctly, you'll inherit the kingdom of God. Now, if you have a mass population that believes this, and then you go out, sometimes people think they only crucified Jesus. Oh, they crucified thousands of people. They crucified thousands, millions of people, right? And you hear these stories of the saints. They would die on the cross with a smile on their face, wouldn't renounce their beliefs. Why? Because they knew this wasn't the end. And that sole principle that Christ communicated to the masses is what caused the Roman Empire to lose control of its people. You can't control a population that believes they're a spiritual being. And how would you control a person that believes this is my one life, this is all I have, I am the body, I'm flesh, there's nothing more to it than that?
Very easy control.
Very easy. You punish them, you hurt them, you threaten them with death. But if everyone believes this isn't it, there's more to it, take my body, okay, you lose control.
Yes.
And I think that was the big disruptor that Christ put in. And I think that belief actually had a huge, huge part to play in the origins of Scientology.
Yeah.
That's my belief, right?
Yeah.
That's what I really think when I really studied these things.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's, I think it's actually in the What is Scientology tome, as we called it earlier. And like one of the first chapters is about like the origins of Scientology, and he talks about it's the culmination of 10,000 years of thinking men. Right. That's not the quote, but that's the idea. Is like he like literally there's a picture where there's all the different like religious men in history. It's like this is what this is all led to. Like it's on based on looking at all of that.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, so there's a question.
Oh yeah. Go.
Do
You do it. Hit it.
There's a question we ask with every guest.
Yeah.
Okay. And the question is, in your own words, what is Scientology?
All right. In my own words, what is Scientology? Scientology is a tailor-made personal roadmap to take you from where you are to where you want to go spiritually. It's the toolbox that you can use to architect the life that you want. And here's the thing. The goal of Scientology is literally to help you achieve your goals.
Yeah.
So to me, Scientology is that tailor-made blueprint for you to obtain your full potential and achieve the goal that you want. Right? Because your goal is probably different than mine. Your goal is different than mine. You guys have different goals. Obviously, there's similarities, right? We want healthy families, healthy kids, help people. But still, your ideal life looks different than my ideal life. For you, it might be whatever it is, right? Whatever you have. Like one guy might want to go start a Fortune 500 company and live on the beach in Miami. The next guy might want to backpack through, third world countries and help people.
Yeah.
But like, the goal is different person to person, and your goal is unique to you. Just by the fact that you're an individual, your ideal life, your goal is unique to you. And Scientology gives you the tool set. It is like you can tailor make a blueprint for yourself to thrive spiritually and make that goal a reality. It's kind of a long-winded answer, but that's
That was amazing.
Great answer.
I feel like you practiced that one.
No.
I mean, I felt like it. I thought
really
that was
good.
amazing.
I didn't practice.
Yeah,
I didn't practice.
good.
I
Okay.
thought about it a little bit, but I didn't practice.
Okay, good.
No. Well, I've been doing this. I've been talking about Scientology for 20 years, man. So, I've got a lot of experience talking about it.
And you're still a young dude.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, it's just you're 38.
I'm
you're
38.
a young guy.
I'm 38. I'm
Yeah.
feeling a little older, though.
Got a lot of road ahead of you.
The cheeseburger affects me a little different than it used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That happens.
Amazing. All right, Wandy, really appreciate it. And if somebody does have a question,
Yeah.
how should somebody reach out to you if they want to talk to the
Yeah.
authority figure?
Yeah. So the best way is to send me a direct message on my socials. I do not get to all the comments. There's certain days where I have
But when you mean your socials, what social are you talking about?
the best one is actually TikTok. That's the one I check the most. If you want to send me a direct message.
And what's the handle there?
I think it's just at Scientology.sfo. I think we'll put it. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I think it's anything that's .sf probably.
SF. Yeah.
good.
Yeah. There you go. You got it. Scientology.sf.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know better than
Yeah.
me. Yeah. Scientology.sf. I don't read all the comments. I can't read all the comments.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
impossible. Right. Like the other day, I had a video. I mean, I had 1,200 comments in a single day.
Wow.
There's no way for me to read 1,200 comments. But if you send me a direct message, I always respond to it. I always try to respond to all the direct messages within 48 hours.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. It was my honor. It was awesome. This was great, guys.
Thank you, Andy.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, remember, don't do nothing.
That's
Peace.
right.
Boom.